It's time to jump into the luxury imports of Bowling Green Mercedes-Benz BMW Sports Webb with your host, Brian Webb. Also starring Danny the Limb Hartung, MLB Insider, brought to you by First Step Orthotics on the Bypass. WKU Sports Analysis with Garrett Browning, presented by Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating, and Cooling. Also made possible by Poston Electronics. The one and only Vegas Prank Against the Odds, presented by JBK Network Consulting. Then free golf tips with WKU Women's Golf Coach in Gary on the Green. From Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill, your Green Egg headquarters. Spotlighting high school athletics with the Culver's Butterburgers Player of the Week. The Coach's Pick with Damon Tabor with plaques from Oak Tree Awards. And all guests via the Line-X of Bowling Green hotline. And now your host of the Sports Web. Here's Brian Webb.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the luxury imports of Bowling Green Mercedes-Benz BMW, feeding America right now. Stop by. Right now they're doing some great things. I think they're actually going to be spending the night until they eat. I mean, maybe they're like going hungry, I think. So they're like really taking this thing serious, Danny Lim, and that's pretty cool. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
It's good to see you.
You too, as well.
We got the main man in, greatest WKU Hilltopper of all time, Brandon Dowdy.
The man,
up, dog?
the myth, the
hey
legend.
Guys, it's nice to be here, and I appreciate you guys having me again.
Oh,
Are
man.
you kidding me?
We had a right last time.
Your show, whatever you want it, Brandon.
That was
Dude,
nice.
exactly.
That was nice of you guys.
G-Man hanging out over here. Both these guys got to go see that miraculous Titans finish there against the Chiefs, the hot Chiefs. I don't know how hot they are now, though, Brandon. And you were hanging out with Matt, and you got to see this thing up close. I don't know. Were you down the field?
No, I didn't go down the field. I didn't want to be fanboy. You know, that's not my deal. So no, we sat up there and we hung out with Matt's brother, who had tickets too, and we told old Matt Moore stories and back and forth to each other. And I actually wore purple. It was like a mix between, because my guy was Ryan Tannehill on the blue side, and my guy Matt Moore is on the red side. So I just met him in the middle and just had purple on. So
that's great.
I was like Barney out there.
What a
Barney.
great neutral way to go.
That's me.
That's
fabulous,
That's a good
man.
idea,
But,
man.
well, Tanny played,
That's like
man.
Kentucky in the Civil War, man. We're neutral. Garrett, you enjoyed this game as well.
I was not neutral colors. I was in the blue.
He's got his powder blue on, baby.
For the first half, I was screaming for Brett Kern, MVP of the Titans, the punter, who the first two possessions he was MVP, and all of a sudden the Titans kind of got in a rhythm of things. Tannehill, he didn't have to throw the ball that much, but what he did with some of those throws kept drives alive and gave Derrick Henry more holes, and all of a sudden they had a chance to win the game at the end, and sure enough, they did.
What did he put it up, 19 times? Is that what it was?
I think 18 or 19.
Yeah. But you know what? Just enough.
Yeah, and it was just, it felt so weird because on the other side, you got Patrick Mahomes, who I think threw
40.
48, 51 times. It's night and day kind of how those two teams want to play, but it made for an incredible game on Sunday.
You know what's pretty remarkable is, like, when I played in college, like, we went so fast and things worked out so well that I wanted to throw the ball every daggone play. And when I played in the league, I kind of wanted to throw it like 15, 20 times a game. Those guys were so good on their side that you're just like, man, I don't want to get hit more than 30 times in a game.
They close on you like a
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini.
My goodness gracious.
I mean, that's how they're rolling.
But Derrick Henry's rolling, man. I mean, you know,
beast.
He's
People don't want to tackle the guy.
Could you? Would you like to tackle those legs? It's like tackling Earl Campbell. I mean, good Lord.
He walked up to us 2017, and I was with Matt, of course. And I'm sitting there with Matt in the 50-yard line. We're throwing balls back and forth. And he walks up, and he looks like one of the guys from, like, This Is Sparta, like 300.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally is like 6'3", like 260, 50 pounds. He looks like, I'm serious. And he was like, hey, Matt Moore, how you doing? Of course, he didn't know who the heck I was, the Alabama guy. He's like, hey, Matt Moore, how you doing? He's like, you play running back? He's like, we have to hit you? He's like, dude, you're going to be laying us all out today. It was like, holy cow. He was huge. The biggest running back I've ever seen in person in my life.
He's a beast, man, because, you know, I mean, like I said, he's got such a good low center of gravity. He runs downhill. And you talking about when those legs are churning, look out. Could you imagine getting hit in the chin 4 times?
You want to hit him early at the line. You don't want him picking up any steam.
And you don't jump on his back because he'll carry you into the end zone.
Watching the game, it kind of felt like for me, and I was looking at it from a weird perspective, but for me, it looked like Kansas City kind of wore down at the fourth quarter.
He did look tired.
He looked like he was done. Their D line was not getting any push or anything. Offensive line was just pushing them all over the place, and Henry's holes got bigger and bigger as the game.
Their defensive line's been suspect all year, but they really did look beat down by the fourth quarter, and it's like, dang, man, this guy's just going to keep running all of them.
Yeah,
one weird thing about Derrick Henry is through the first 8 to 9 weeks of the season, he's always inconsistent. Right. He's going to have 1 or 2 games he runs for 120 yards, like the Browns week 1. And then all of a sudden you didn't see it for 4 or 5 more weeks. But then you get to week 10, and you can almost guarantee he's going to get the ball 20 times a game and probably close to 90 yards.
He's rested.
As long as you give him the ball.
He's rested. He doesn't have to run as far. But they always said, if you want to pick up or get a trade for Derrick Henry, you do it in November and December because that's when he just shines then. And, I mean, you're getting some big yardage out of him now and touchdowns, too. He used to be touchdown dependent, in the early stages of the game, but for fantasy football I'm talking about. But now he starts rolling over people. So
let's go from one excellent win in the Titans to another incredible win, SEC victory in their house, Razorback Stadium. And I put it this way, I abused the bowels of that stadium. I was everywhere, man. It was the greatest time I ever had in my life. Hats off, and a big thank you to Randy Lee. I think he's probably tuned in. Randy, thank you, man. I had an absolute blast. Got to be met my roomie, Dowdy. I got the room with him. We went to dinner. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
How much of a snorer is he? He looks like a snorer.
Here's the fun. It's funny that you say that because we were in there and we had, it's a suite, and I was like, Randy, if I start snoring, I'm a legendary snorer. Like, you'll see the curtains flutter.
Oh, I'm CPAP guy.
I mean, I should have one. All my buddies in college have one. I'm not doing it until they make me, but it was just incredible, man. But anyways, he does snore a little, but it didn't keep me up because my wife snores a lot. Oh, sorry, honey, I probably got in trouble for that.
Mercy.
But we're both snorers, so we're kind of immune to it. We kind of cancel out. So I was worried about it, but he went in before me and kicked back. He fell asleep. We were watching the Lakers, but yeah, he snores a little. That's good. Man, I tell you who wasn't snoring. WKU offense. I mean, hats off, Brandon. You're a legendary quarterback. I mean, Ty, to go down there, what did that have to be like growing up right there close? And then, a team that you played for got a whole season pretty much out there getting reps and saw the writing on the wall. And I'm so glad we got him as a Hilltopper. But to go back there, what did that have to be like for him?
Just the mental grind that Ty Story has gone through this entire season, just not being named a starter. Going out, not being the week 1 starter. Steven goes down. He comes in there and just kind of lights it up. But that's the thing I like about Ty, and I've built a relationship with him, so I can say this. But he just gets it. He just does the little things that a good quarterback does. That he communicates. He gets everybody lined up. He gets them in position. He understands defenses. He ain't going to make a bad read. The ball's never going to be really in jeopardy unless it's a situation where they need 14 or 15 on third long. So he does a good job of managing the game. He gets everybody in the run game going. He gets the O-line going. And those guys, rally around him, which is really cool to see. And I think that just spending, a couple times with him, he just gets it. And we can just talk about football. I don't have to, water anything down for him, kind of like I have to do with you, Brian, when we talk about football. No, I don't have to wire everything down. So it's refreshing in knowing that, man, this program is in good hands. And I couldn't imagine how jacked up he was for that game, how excited he was, and how he had to harness that and not throw the first ball 25 yards over somebody's head. So I mean that's pretty cool. I was super happy for him. Super happy for Coach Ellis. Super happy for Coach Helton. That's a big win for him. Bowl eligible. I mean that's incredible. I mean you got the same team as last year, and you've already won 6 games. I mean that's in itself.
You know what that tells you?
Yeah. I said it without saying it.
Play calling and coaching is crucial, and we see that even in the National Football League. Yep. I mean, I feel like maybe, Kitchens did get a win this week.
Well, you're talking about play calling and decision making there in that first half. 5 of 5 fourth down conversions really just set the tone for the rest of the game and put him out to that great early start as well.
And he's not a rusher, and he's more of a rusher than Brady, I guess, but he's not a rusher. And for him to, he was playing with passion. I was out there for the coin toss, Brandon and Danny, and man, the look in his eye. You talk about eye of the tiger. I love that.
Nice.
He had it, man. He had it, and it was just to see him be able to do that with his parents there in attendance, and even though the crowd wasn't great, it was still 30-something thousand there, and that's a nice stadium.
That's good size.
Yeah, it was really good. It was electric, and there was 300 or 400 tops fans there. You got to love that. But I mean, you got another thing I wanted to say. Talking about beasts, we were talking about Derrick Henry a while ago. D'Angelo Malone, dude. I mean, honestly, Brandon, that guy, he's got a nice future.
Got a chance,
doesn't he?
He definitely has a chance. I think he gets off the ball well. He does a good job in the pass game. He understands like when teams are trying to screen him. And I was blessed enough to do the broadcast for ESPN Plus this year, and you get to kind of study him throughout the game, and I got to watch a lot of his stuff, and he does a really good job of studying it. That's the difference between the game and him as a player 2-3 years ago, as a player now. Is he just has studied the game, understands when they're screening him, and he reacts to screens well. He gets off the line well. He anticipates cadence well. He does everything you really want in a rush defensive end. So he does have a huge, bright future. He's going to be as good as he wants to be.
Any more D linemen too, as far as that goes, they're just so wanted. And if you watch the drafts anymore, they're going first 3 rounds. I mean, you're thinking everybody's going offense. No, they love these D linemen. And I tell you what, I can name about 8 teams that could use a good defensive end or defensive tackle. That's where it's heading right now, especially these fast, quick guys. It's never the big burly guys anymore because they're running around them. But these fast D linemen, they're far and few between real good ones. But if the quicker, the better, and he'll get drafted.
I know you guys had to see the best play of the game. And that's when Munson kicks it, goes down, beats the coverage, and just takes him out. I mean, the place that's when the air was just sucked out of the stadium.
He got Munsoned.
He got so Munson, man, left in the middle of nowhere.
But back to your point, I mean, you think about defensive linemen, it kind of had me thinking, I mean, the best player in the NFL is hands down by far Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Or Donald, the guy from the Rams. He's the best player I've ever seen on film. I remember sitting there with Ryan Tannehill, and we were sitting there watching film. We played the Rams. Actually, Goff's first game, rookie year, first ever game, we played the Rams at L.A. I think it was the Coliseum. No, it was in, I don't know where they started. Was it in the Coliseum?
It's in Pasadena.
Pasadena, yeah. So we played Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
So we played him at there, and he's looking at me. It's like a Thursday practice. After we're at, it's like 11 o'clock at night. We just got done with a Thursday practice. He's like, "Hey, Brandon, what the heck are we going to do about Aaron Donald? I mean, have you seen this guy?" I was like, "Yeah, this guy's a freak show." And like you said, I mean, they're looking for guys like that with high motors. And D'Angelo puts on a couple pounds, man. He really does have a chance to even look at the
These
park.
guys got 4.6 speed. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it's incredible for a guy that's running 250, 255 with 4.5, 4.6 speed. I mean, that to me is what it's going to trap guys, especially quarterbacks. They're coming around that end. Where's the quarterback to go except backwards or forward?
Yeah.
But
you don't have much Brady's anymore either.
Exactly.
These quarterbacks are running 4.5 and stuff like that.
Unless you're Kyler Murray.
Yeah, serious. So.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. How many touchdowns does he have, and how many receptions does he have in the NFL at this point?
That offense is built for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's another thing I think is really underrated in this whole process with the Rays. Can you imagine Lamar Jackson anywhere but under John Harbaugh? I mean, Jim Harbaugh did it with Colin Kaepernick when he was with the Niners. Obviously, Jack Harbaugh did it here with Western. And now John Harbaugh, he gets Lamar, and he's just built the perfect offense to use him.
Exactly.
He looks like Vic when he runs, but he's got an arm like Donovan McNabb. I mean,
and he can stay in the pocket. He can just beat you in so many ways, Brandon. I mean, can you imagine if you had those legs, man?
You ain't kidding. I was talking to somebody about that. I was like, man, the game would be so much easier if I just had those legs. I wouldn't have to study at all.
Second year, but I mean, he's so matured from last year to this year. It's just, it was mind blowing.
Slowed down for him.
Yeah. This was my favorite stat of the weekend from Paul Hembo on Twitter. First 16 career starts. Lamar Jackson, 13 wins, Mahomes, 12. Rushing yards, Lamar Jackson, 1258. LaDainian Tomlinson, 1236. Lamar Jackson, 94.4 passer rating. Brady, 90.1. More yards per attempt than Aaron Rodgers through first 16 starts and a better completion percentage than Drew Brees through 16 starts.
And that's something. But the only problem with those hot running quarterbacks, injuries. And I don't care what anyone says, they wear down and they get popped. And that's the only problem I see with that.
It's so weird to me because he never takes a big hit. He's so slippery. It's he's
You're right. He's ricocheting.
He's he got grease all over him.
Yeah, he's all lubed up. He's lubed up. Man.
No, I'm not saying that he's destined for that, but you see that though over all the years. So
we're up against one here, folks. I know you don't want us to go because this is good stuff, but I'll propose a little bit of a question. MVP, everybody's saying Russell Wilson is setting atop that, but I mean, do you think Lamar Jackson, or do you think Lamar should be in that? Let's find out when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We're talking with Brandon Dowdy, legendary WKU Hilltopper, Danny the Limb, legendary everything, Garrett Brown and Brian Webb here. We'll be right back. 102.7, 104 The Score.
How much were your heating costs last winter? I'm sure too much. Mike Keith here to tell you how to heat your home for just $600 a year. Trust the experts at Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill to transform your old fireplace into a stunning source of heat with brand names such as Yodel, Fireplace Extraordinaire, Avalon, and Lopi, the Cadillac of fireplaces. Lopi's Cape Cod is the world's cleanest burning wood stove with unbelievable hybrid fire technology. Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill, just off the bridge on Old Louisville Road. BowlingGreenFireplace.com.
Hi, this is Danny Hartung with First Step Prosthetics. Jeremy Harris and I would like to thank the people of Bowling Green and the surrounding areas for their support of the last 10 years. We are proud to announce that we have been celebrating over a decade of service to this community. We are going strong with the utmost care for our orthotic and prosthetic patients. We strive to provide the new and latest technology for the care of our patients and whatever their specific needs should be. Take the next step with us. Next to Batteries Plus on the bypass, or visit us at firststepprosthetics.com.
JBK Network Consulting and Cisco Systems have long been partners in Hilltopper Country. We have served South Central Kentucky since 1992 and now serve customers throughout the Commonwealth and in 19 states. With the power of Cisco Systems, JBK Network Consulting offers a complete lineup of voice-over IP, wireless indoor and outdoor, and digital signage for both information and entertainment sales and services. Looking to expand or just want to start on rock-solid ground? Conveniently located in Bowling Green, JBK Network Consulting, where we are IP everything.
During the BMW Road Home Sales Event, fuel the drive to end hunger at Luxury Imports of Bowling Green. Test drive any new BMW on Luxury Imports lot November 12th through 16th, and BMW will donate 200 meals to Feeding America, plus you'll receive a $1,000 credit towards select BMW models. Take a test drive for a good cause and join BMW and Luxury Imports in ending hunger this holiday season. November 12th through 16th at Luxury Imports of Bowling Green, 325 Three Springs Road, online at bmwofbowlinggreen.com.
Thanks for hanging out with us here on 102.7. If you're up in Glasgow, you're hearing us on 104 The Score. You can stream us live anywhere in the world on ESPN Radio 1027.com. You can also check out all of our archived shows on podcast, iTunes. Brandon Dowdy in the studio, The Limb, Danny Hartung, Garrett Browning, Brian Webb here. You know, guys, do you think that Lamar should be in that conversation with Russell?
Yeah, 100%. The guy's having a heck of a year. Game slowed down for him. He's been decisive. I mean, statistically, he's probably the best quarterback statistically in the league. And, I mean, it's got to be amount to something. He's also running the ball, and how he stayed healthy. And the guy's incredible to watch. He's fun to watch. I still think maybe I just have a man crush on him, but Pat Mahomes has got to be my guy. I think he's just fun to watch. Matt tells me stories about him, and it's just like, man, I feel like I know him.
They both are so much fun to watch. But I think everyone, the Russell Wilson thing, he gets a lot of West Coast bias from all the riders up there from Los Angeles all the way up to Seattle. But I tell you what, you got to give the love to Kansas City and Baltimore for producing these guys, because they're rolling it. They really are rolling it.
I'll give you two more if their teams stay hot. That's probably the biggest thing for their MVP consideration. Christian McCaffrey and everything he does for Carolina, he definitely deserves to be in there. And then Dalvin Cook for Minnesota. I think he adds a lot to what Kirk Cousins and them do with that Vikings offense. I can't imagine what they would have been last year if he was healthy and didn't tear his ACL so early.
That's what I mean. Well, last year he came off that first rookie year of the ACL, so they
yeah,
slowed him down last year quite a bit. But man, this year he picked it up right where he left off in his rookie year, and he's just tearing it up. If you watched him in any of that game the other night, man, that guy bounces off, and he has people miss. He makes people miss, and he out of the backfield. The guy has the hands of just like glue, and the guy can take a ball and turn a 2-yard run into 20. The guy's fun to watch.
You know, we haven't even talked about them. They took their first loss of the season last night, the 49ers, to a really good Seahawks team. And I don't know. I just feel like there's still this stigma. A lot of people out there just don't know if they can believe in the Niners or not. Obviously, they played really good through the first 10 weeks of the season. But we'll start with Brandon. Brandon, do you think this is a true playoff, maybe Super Bowl contending Niners team this season?
I think the Niners do everything you want to do in November, December when it gets cold, when you're not in a dome, you're not, doing that. They run the football. They play tremendous defense, and they're fast as crap. Those guys that they have, Kyle Shanahan's built that team for speed. He's built that team to play in December and January. So one loss, whatever. Everybody's overhyping the fact that they don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy, and I think he had his first loss as a starter last night. The guy's he's a good freaking quarterback. I'm sorry to tell you. You guys think that everybody's out there. So I read something this morning saying that he's the cancer on the team. And I'm like thinking to myself, you have no idea a cancer is.
Just one night straight game.
They're not overachievers on offense, but they do just enough to win. Those corners and those safeties are the best right now in the NFL.
I would.
With Richard Sherman and those guys,
and their
fabulous.
defensive line, man, that's one of the best lines
with Bosa.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
For sure.
Nick Bosa is incredible.
That play last night, I don't even remember the guy's name, but it was the backup center for Seattle. He literally threw the center back like 5 yards into Russell Wilson, who was standing in shotgun formation. He didn't even have time to catch the ball before the defensive tackle was back there.
Unbelievable.
Culver's Butterburger, Scottsville Road, none better, Garrett. How much do you like them? I mean, you can't beat it.
Good stuff, bro.
Yeah, you love Culver's. We all do. Culver's Player of the Year going to be coming up in a couple weeks. Got some great high school football. Garrett's going to have the weekend off, though. But, man, what a game. Recap that game real quick for us, man. I was watching that from afar in Arkansas. It looked like a bloodbath.
Oh, man, it was crazy between East and Allen County, Scottsville. ACS really had the advantage throughout the game. They were up 9 with about 3.5 minutes left, driving down the field to try and ice it, to make it 2 possessions, maybe even further out than that. But they faced a 4th and 5 from the 5-yard line. They'd only kicked 1 field goal all season and missed it. So they're going to go for the 4th down. 99-yard pick 6 cuts the lead to 2. Warren East gets another stop, a chance to drive down the field with about a minute left, down by 2. They go 90 yards inside the 10-yard line and throw an interception, and ACS pulled out a victory. But it was honestly one of the best high school games I've ever seen.
99-yard pick.
Oh, it was unreal. I was losing my mind, Danny. Don't worry.
You were. It sounded like it was going a little crazy up in the
some great
press
tackling.
Box. All right, guys, we're gonna roll in on this while we got some time left. Titans going to be facing the Jags at home coming up on the 24th. But then a Colts team who's done real well. I don't know if Jacoby Brissett's going to be healthy, though, for this next one. And how does that affect him? I mean, you need him, right?
Yeah, you need him. They signed him to that big deal. And he's sneaky, having a heck of a year.
Yeah, but you have Hoyer the Destroyer on the backside of it.
I'll tell you what. I'll be honest, though. I was talking to somebody about this. Every time Brian Hoyer gets signed to a different team, it's like he's got a curse where the starting quarterback's going to get hurt. He has to play. Every time you see him, it's like, oh, God. He signed with Brady last year, and I was like, oh, Brady's going down.
Brady's done.
He's going down.
Baby.
I don't know if he poisons them and
Hoyer
beating
the
them
Destroyer, man. But, yeah, Brissett's having a good year.
Yeah.
The Colts are just
sneaky good.
They just won't go away.
I tell you what, that's another good defense right there.
It is.
Team defense. Team defense. They run the ball. They step to play action. I mean, they do, again.
Marlon
December
Mack's 50 years old.
Their defense came out of nowhere. I swear, 2 years ago, they had the worst defense in the NFL, and then all of a sudden they get a couple good draft picks, and just like that, Darius Leonard at linebacker, and everything flipped.
That's what's weird about the whole Luck situation to me is that, that team is built around Luck. It's built to win. It's got a great offensive line. They play good defense. He wasn't going to have to throw it 50 times a game like he's been in the past. So something mentally, I think, was going on with Luck.
Do you think they weren't ready for that?
No.
They were not ready for him
to
just say, hey, I'm packing it in.
Speaking of defense, Brandon, what about Devin Key's pick six? You see
that was
that?
nice.
That was a beauty.
That was a beauty.
5 interception in his career, first pick six.
I'm shocked that he doesn't have more. The
I
guy's
know. I thought the same thing when I
he's
heard that
sniffing
stat.
around the ball every single play. So, I don't know. The kid's a good player. I saw him in practice a couple times, and I remember he he one-handedly almost caught a ball behind his back or something, and I was like, Devin. I walked up to him jokingly. I was like, Devin, only catch that one next time. And he's like, yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Come on, dude.
Now, I know you tortured plenty of WKU defenders in practice, but was there a WKU defender that ever kind of got to you a couple of times in practice?
Oh, gosh. There was a couple. That's a good question. I played against some really good defense. So in 2013, I know 14 and 15, our defense wasn't great, but 2013, our defense was probably the best defense Western's ever had other than this unit they have. Our starting linebacker was Andrew Jackson, and I'm still scared of Andrew Jackson to this day.
He's going to the XFL.
You ain't kidding. And Jonathan Dowling was back there covering every inch of the field. You'd look him off left, you take 6 steps left, and you throw one right, and he's right there. And you're like, what the heck? Yeah. But, yeah, a lot of these guys, man, Tyree Robinson, Arius Wright, there's a ton of guys that just understood the game. And we had a really good defense in 13, 14, 15, I don't know. We just didn't have it.
Would you go? Would you go to the XFL?
Oh, gosh. I actually just got a call about this yesterday.
He hate me.
Breaking news.
No, but I don't know. I got a family. My back hurts. My shoulder hurts.
You got a job now.
I'm like an old man.
You got a brace guy, though.
You know how you know you're old is you just kind of talk about the old days.
Yeah, that's a good.
But
when you know you're kind of done.
You do have a brace guy with you.
You got a brace guy?
You got a man right here.
I might need
In
one.
your corner.
We don't need you with that Jeff Brahma low light either.
Oh, dear God.
Put into the turf and helmet twisted around.
Yeah, I don't need
everything.
any of that in my life. I know. I think that was the most attractive thing about me. Not that I was, played football in the NFL or played in college, but that I had anything to do with Jeff Brom. They love him. The guy's like a XFL legend.
Yes, he is, man. He totally is. Who was it a while back that went missing in South Carolina that was top? You know what I'm talking about?
Did he hate me?
It was he hate me. It was he hate me. Did they ever figure out? He's okay?
He's okay.
Oh, thank God. All right. I'm sorry, man. It was a one-off, but it just made me. I had forgot. He is. He was unbelievable. But if something were to happen and somebody dazzled a little something out in front of you there, Brandon, I just want to see you back on the turf.
I know. A lot of people do. But
this just in. I'm sorry. Rocco Baldelli wins the AL Manager of the Year for Minnesota with 101 wins.
Man, and they're not losing much, are they?
No. They're all locked up.
Sky the limit for them next year, right?
They're in good shape.
100 games. That's I don't know if anybody really expected that this year out of them.
No, that's why he probably got that award, brother.
Brandon, other than I don't know, put words in your mouth, but on the trip, we a lot of us talked about the Marshall game, and how huge that was for you. What was your standout game? And it may not be performance. What did you walk off the field feeling better? And what was your best as far as you're concerned?
Oh gosh, there was a couple games that were pivotal in my success personally. The Bowling Green game when I didn't even throw a ball over 10 yards and still had 600 yards throwing. I was unbelievable, and it was a little bit unbelievable. But that game to me meant more than just that. We threw for a bunch of yards and we crushed a team that just came off a conference championship and lost one game the previous year. It was kind of a confidence booster for myself because I came off a pretty rough year the year before and didn't really know, I was meant out for this college thing. I came in there and threw for that many yards. I think that kind of relayed that confidence onto everybody. Taywan Taylor came out that game. Jared Dangerfield came out that game. Twain Grant came out that game. Everybody, man. So it was one of those, okay, deep breath, we got this. I think we're going to be as good as we think we can be.
And you guys, I mean, you didn't just instill that confidence in yourself. You did it with the whole community. I mean, you guys, that, if I remember correctly, that was was that the first game of that season against
Yeah, it was
Bowling
the opener of that season. So
yeah, I remember being up in the press box and just watching touchdown, more passing yards. And it was like, holy cow, is this about to happen?
You know what the funny thing about that was is that all week, in that week of preparation, don't know how I remember this, but all week of that preparation, we saw like little things on Bowling Green State, and they were pitching like, we're gonna be the fastest team in the NCAA. We're gonna we're gonna try to be so fast, and we were kind of keeping it to ourselves. Like, I bet you we're gonna be faster than these guys, and we came out there just guns a-blazing. It was unbelievable.
All right, guys. Final thought. We're gonna go around the horn on this one. We'll start with the limb over there. Just what do the Titans have to do other than obviously win some games, Danny? But what do they need to do to secure at least a playoff berth, whether it be a wild card or something else?
Keep 10-8 QB and let the big man run the rock.
Playoffs. What's that, Brandon? What do you think they got to do? Are they going to get there?
They need to sign my guy Ryan Tannehill to like another $100 million deal.
There you go.
That's my guy. So, but no, I think they have it. They're another team, man. Sneaky team that they can defend well. They got good pass rushers. They got a running back that takes 100. Can get it 100 times in a game and be just fine. So, offensive line does a decent job. I wish they would keep my guy cleaner, but anyway, they have a guy that's won it. They have a franchise backup quarterback. I mean, how many teams has a franchise quarterback as their backup quarterback?
Yeah.
So he's got the DNA to win. So I'm just excited about the season. I'm excited about cheering for him. I was a little bit less of a Titans fan when Mariota was there. Love Marcus. He's a good dude, but my guy Ryan Tannehill, man.
Yeah, you got to keep status quo the way it is right now. I like it.
Yeah, don't change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Just win, baby.
Just win.
Just win, baby. This is what we do on the Sports Web. Thank you, Brandon Downey, for joining us, man. It's always a pleasure. I hope to see you many, many more times. And Lim, it goes without saying.
We're out.
You're the man. And G-Man, thank you so much. Stick around. Vegas Frank, we're going to ask him that same question about the Titans, and we'll talk some more NFL with him as well, some UFC. And then Adam Gary on the green is going to let us know just how to hit out of that sand trap. Danny, you know how to do that. You're a good bunker player. Only reason I'm a good bunker player is because I lived in Vegas for 8 years. Everything
you hit out of the
everything's saying. Brandon, thanks, man.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
you. Stick around. We'll be right back on the Sports Web, ESPN Radio 102.7, 104, The Score.
Man, that looks rough. That one got whacked good.
Yeah, I do know I'm getting sick of cleaning it up.
Hello, Vegas. Give me $100 on red.
$200 in tips, please.
Are you a professional?
What's your bet, sir?
Bet.
Hit me.
It's a bust.
Whoa! I am on fire.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
You're a winner!
Against the Odds with Vegas Frank is brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. JBK Network Consulting. We are IP everything. Working with complex organizations to achieve measurable business outcomes is what we do. Let Jim Grant and JBK Network Consulting go to work for you. Call 270-796-8935. Visit JBK Network Consulting at 1143 Fairway Place, Suite 105, and online at jbk.net.
Thanks for coming on back to the Sports Web LineX Hotline. We've got him, the one and only Vegas Frank. Roger and Gina, get over there and check them out on Louisville Road, Porter Pike. They will take care of the bed of your truck. My boy is going over there next week to get it done, Frank. Hey, man, they've got one out there in Las Vegas if you need to, put that on your Mercedes. You can get your whole Mercedes blacked out.
Hey, I'm ready.
Man, what a weekend. First of all, I had a blast. I want to say thank you again to the WKU Hilltopper Football Organization. And let me tell you something, man. That thing runs like a well-oiled machine, Frank. I've never seen anything like it from the production standpoint, just the team and how they get everybody going and in the right place at the right time. It was amazing just to see that side of it, and an honor, man, to be there. And, I was all over the SEC network running around. I was in the end zone. I was everywhere, man.
I saw you. I mean, I saw highlights. I saw you several times celebrating and some fist pumps.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good.
I love my tops, man. I couldn't control it. I couldn't maintain. It was just, it was surreal, man. And what a win for the program. And I don't care what anybody says. I saw that Arkansas team up close. I think that's a coaching situation, which they've since eliminated. But what a humongous team. And Raheem Boyd is he's the real deal, man. He looked like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, the whole pace of the game, I mean, they just kind of hit him in the mouth, and they never really looked back. You really weren't going to get good value if you were betting on the tops. You know, only at -1, you weren't going to get like that great of value. But I mean, for them to win and to win going away, I mean, not just to win on the road, you know, against an SEC school, but to win the way they did was it was impressive, and it became kind of like, oof, gosh, this is bad.
Yeah.
You know, but it was awesome, and I'm really, really glad you got to experience it.
Well, it was, man, hats off to Randy Lee. I mean, he was my roommate. I get to be roomies with Randy Lee. I mean, it's just unbelievable, man. I wanted to touch base a little bit on the NFL first, Frank, and we'll gravitate, talk some college football. But man, just a weird weekend in the NFL. I mean, and my Cowboys being just a brutal. I don't know what the call is when you need to score and you're only down a few points and a touchdown wins it. That you call a fair catch when you had like 50 yards of wide open field. I mean, it's time to get rid of Jason Garrett, dude.
It absolutely is. Whether or not that actually happens, I don't know, but it is time to get rid of Jason Garrett. You sign people like Tavon Austin, you know, to return punts, you know, based on what he can do in the open field, returning punts. If you're seeing any of the photos from where his view line was or his perspective was when he was going to fair catch that ball, he should have just blown off the coaches and just returned it.
Yes.
He would have had at least 15 more yards.
Oh,
probably
question.
More.
It may have been a touchdown because the blocking was so good on that side that he did just a safety may have caught him, or somebody may have caught him from the punt team, but he had a wide open lane. I don't know. It's brutal, and it's not just the Cowboys. The Saints, they lay an egg. I don't even know what happened to the Saints.
No, they came out flat. I mean, we've seen this with some of these teams in the last few weeks. The Packers, when they went to L.A., a couple of weeks back, they just seemed like they're just kind of going through the motions. They never really get caught up, and it seemed like the Saints were just kind of off yesterday. They weren't really with it. I mean, if you're saying that you've got a loss to just kind of a game to like throw away, I mean, maybe that was the game that they're just kind of throwing away. That we'll look back at it like in a month or so and say, oh yeah, they lost to the Falcons too, because they're going to play the Falcons on Thanksgiving in a few weeks. So they'll probably be a lot more focused, I would think. Now that maybe kind of woke them up a little bit. But a division rival, you never know. You never know how a team's going to respond, and they obviously didn't respond.
No, they did not. I'll tell you who did respond, the Tennessee Titans at home. Derrick Henry, first of all, is a beast, but the way they won that game and to win that game in that fashion and to seal the game at the end with a block kick, that was just, man, that was one of the best games I've seen in a long time.
Well, I mean, since week 7, I mean, essentially when Tannehill took over as starting quarterback, it was like week 7, he's had 3 come from behind victories.
It's crazy.
And, that's right near the top of the league. So, I mean, this is a guy that's establishing his reputation as the starting quarterback now. With the Titans, we no longer have a quarterback controversy. This is Tannehill's team. This is a fun team to watch going forward. We know that the defense has always kind of been there. Their special teams have been playing out of their minds. That big blocked field goal to end the game yesterday. Great timing on the snap count. They weren't offsides. They watched it. They were on it. They were able to get there and get that big block. But a great team win yesterday for the Titans. That was big, and it's a big statement against a team that a lot of people think is a contender to win the AFC.
Absolutely a contender, a favorite, I would guess. Yeah, great job. Hats off to the Titans. I'm so glad that happened. And man, looking forward, they got they got a shot here, man, to make a little bit of a run with Tannehill. And I'm not saying he's all of it, but it is crazy for him to come in and do what he's done. And I think Russell Wilson sets atop that with maybe 4 or something. So he's just right there on this season being stud. I mean, in just very few games. I know the Titans fan base is happy. You could tell they're really liking Tannehill down there. Man, I'll tell you who I like. Lamar Jackson. My goodness, man. I don't know if anybody can stop the Ravens, man.
Yeah, he he's ridiculous. They put up some numbers as far as, for his first 16 career starts or something like that. He's got more rushing yards than LaDainian Tomlinson.
Wow.
In his first 16 career starts.
That's insane.
Yeah, and the QBR is right there on par with a Brady, for the first 16 career starts, and yards per completion, everything. He's averaging with all of these household name type quarterback that we've been talking about. He's right there in that mix, and he's got the wheels too. He's on pace to run for 1,200 yards this year. He's special, man. I mean, it's a video game kind of thing to watch him.
Yeah.
That move. That thing
The
we're going to
spin
replay
move.
over and
Yeah.
over again. It's ridiculous.
It is. The timing on that guy's brain has to work so much faster than mine. I mean, he's moving at, 19, 20 miles an hour probably, and he makes that on a dime. It looked like a 360 to me. I mean, almost more than that. I mean, he looked like he went around a couple times. It was just crazy seeing that. And the Bungles defenders just, it makes you think of the Follies music and stuff. I mean, it was just great. I mean, this guy, he's going to set records. We may be seeing one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, Frank.
He's ridiculous, and that option play that they ran, that was between him and two other Heisman winners.
Yeah.
They have. Or keep in mind, they have 3 Heisman Trophy winners on offense with him and RG3 and Mark Ingram. They've got 3 guys that play together in that. Then their Heisman package, they were calling it that option, where he's faking it to Mark Ingram and running out to the side and then pitching it to RG3. It was really bizarre to think about that.
Yep.
That those 3 guys are playing on the field at the same time.
That is
for the same team. It's ridiculous.
That is profound when you think about it. And if I was the Patriots, I'd be a little worried.
I think I would be too. The only thing is that, like we kind of talked about it last week, the Patriots are really good at making adjustments. They're going to come in with a different game plan for the next time that they end up playing, if they do end up playing against each other.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
We will have to wait and see. We've got a high school matchup Friday night that's kind of like Patriots-Ravens. Bowling Green Purple's taking on the South Orange Spartans 5A. Man, I tell you, I can't wait to see how that one unfolds. But, Frank, moving on to some college, unless you got a final tidbit there for the NFL before we move on.
No, I'm good. I'm just wondering if the Rams are going to find themselves, because they seem a little lost.
They are super lost, man. Sean McVay, I just don't, usually you would think he wouldn't let that happen, but man, they did not look good at all against the Steelers, did they?
Yeah, nobody's calling him a genius anymore.
Yeah, no, I think the genius thing is out the window for a while. We'll see what happens. I mean, I hate it for those. They got a solid team, man. You got a great rusher, and what are you going to do?
They've got to figure it out. You have to. They've got to commit yourself to running the ball a little more. Giving Goff some time. I don't know if Goff is really the guy.
I don't
know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he is.
His numbers are stagnant. I mean, stagnant. He's got some great receivers, Josh Reynolds, Cooper Kupp, just to name a couple, man. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see how it unfolds, but I don't see them making a stir. They're sure not going to repeat, that's for sure.
No, it's gonna be hard for them to get it together.
I'll tell you, man, college football, we spent a little time on it. We'll talk about the tops, but let's talk about the LSU-Alabama game. Holy smokes. And then Bama almost gets back at it at the end there to take it to the wire. We watched a little bit of it in the plane flying back from Arkansas, but I couldn't believe that first half score.
No, I mean the game was 4 hours long, but it sure didn't feel like it. That had every feeling of a heavyweight matchup. I mean, that game will probably be better than either one of the semifinals that we get in the playoffs. That'll probably be a better matchup that we get to see as far as the hype and the talent that's on the field collectively. They had scouts from every NFL team at this game on Saturday, watching these two guys play, and it was a heavyweight fight. Burrow has established himself, like it seems week by week. He seems to establish himself more and more as this guy who's got this reputation of, just playing really well under pressure. And LSU is here to stay, man. They're definitely a contender, and we've got to see if Alabama's going to be able to right the ship.
Well, Heisman, man, he's got to be the lead candidate.
He's the favorite. At the beginning of the season, you'd get incredible value. You'd get like 40-1. I
think you told us that before the betting closed. You even said that would be a great take, and you were all over it, man. I mean, yes, they are for real. They're here to stay, no doubt about it. Anything else out of college football?
Not really. I mean, we're trying to figure out if these other teams that have kind of been flying under the radar, like the Minnesotas and Baylors of the world,
big game for the Gophers.
are actually contenders. Baylor plays Oklahoma Saturday night this week.
That'll be fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And what else we got going on? We'll talk a little UFC. They got a fight coming up at the end of it, but before we do, what's going on in the NBA, man? Things shaping up? Are there some people out there you're wondering what's going on with them? Because I know the Knicks are not in good shape.
The Knicks are not in good shape. I don't know if the Knicks are going to be in good shape this year. They're questioning the coach, asking Fizdale about load management with this kid with Barrett. Yeah, it's unbelievable. R.J. Barrett, he's a kid, and they're talking about managing his minutes, and the guy's like, kid's 19 years old. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, relax.
But
they've got to figure that out. And I think as far as what's going on with the NBA, the Nuggets are still a team that, people aren't really talking about because they kind of fly under the radar. They're not a big market type of superstar type team, but they find ways to win. And, you look at them right now, they're second best team in the Western Conference right behind the Lakers, who lost last night to Toronto.
Man, I tell you, it's early NBA, but you can kind of already see the teams that have fire and chemistry and the ones that are struggling to find out who they are.
No, you're right. And again, too, the Raptors are going to play at least for a while. They're going to play with a chip on their shoulder because everybody kind of wants to discount what they're doing. Lowry is out with the injury. Obviously, they lost Kawhi Leonard, through free agency. So they're a team that's still trying to figure out what they are exactly. They do have a chip on their shoulder, and they're motivated. And that team still has a lot of talent. So, I mean, they can still produce. And the East, I mean, who's really, setting themselves apart in the East? Anybody could win the East.
Unbelievable. Well, we'll see how it shapes up. A lot of games left in the NBA, so we'll keep our eye on all that, and we'll follow up next Tuesday on it. Frank, you got a UFC fight coming up, but before we get to that, tell me real quick about your aspirations and hopes in the betting window. What's a good pick, man, coming up this week? What's a good pick on the board? Do you see anything out there?
Well, looking at Baylor against Oklahoma, I think just because they get good value, I've got to check what the final line is. I mean, we're still early in the week, so there's going to be some movement.
Sure.
So I definitely like that. Take a shot at Minnesota, the Gophers. I can't believe I'm talking about the Minnesota Gophers. But talk about the Minnesota Gophers winning the Big Ten. They don't have to play Ohio State. They don't have to play Michigan. You're going to get really good value from them. They just beat Penn State. They've basically won the toughest game they're going to have. They still have to play Iowa. Iowa doesn't look to be that much of a threat, and I think Minnesota matches up really well against Iowa. I think that Minnesota could be a sleeper pick to contend for a playoff bid. Depending on how things break, you could get a really good number, pretty good value at betting on Minnesota.
I totally agree with you. I spent some time with an Iowa Hawkeye this weekend, a good one. Starter 4 years there, played in the NFL. I think he had a good 10-year stint in the NFL. Mike Goff, who's the offensive line coach for the Hilltoppers, I'm going to have him on here pretty soon. Played for, I think, Chargers. I think he played for the Chiefs, and I can't remember who else, somebody else. But, man, I tell you, unbelievable, huge guy, but he knows what he's doing. Man, let's finish up with a little UFC action. Close it up, Frank.
Well, Colby Covington, we know him because of his big mouth, and the guy loves to pop off. I'd say he's kind of like a smaller version of McGregor. In the way that he's like a showman, and he loves to pop off and talk a lot of trash. Talks to the crowd constantly. He's rocking like his MAGA hat and everything. I mean, he's kind of a little bit of a nut, but I mean, he's a fun guy to watch. He's going to be fighting Kamaru Usman coming up shortly in the next couple of weeks. That's going to be a great fight to watch. I really like Usman in this fight, but I think that Covington has definitely got something to him. He's a showman, and he's the kind of guy that, can help sell fight, and he's definitely going to help sell this fight. It's going to be a fun matchup.
I'm going to ask you last question. Bold prediction, will the Titans make the playoffs?
I say yes. They're going to be the second wild card.
I love it, man. Frank is Frank every week. JBK Network Consulting on the Line-X Hotline. Thanks, buddy.
Good talking to you.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Sports Webb, ESPN 102.7, 104, The Score.
You're playing golf and you're going to like it.
Time to go home there, Ball.
I can make it across.
Well, then do it.
We got all of that.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Knock it on. Let her rip.
It's in the hole. By the way, what did Mr. Webb shoot this morning?
It's time for Gary on the Green. Gary on the Green is brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill on Old Louisville Road and online at bowlinggreenfireplace.com. Call 270-495-1131.
Gary on the Green, another Tuesday, another golf tip brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill. Man, I hadn't been up to Willow Oaks in a while. I hope you're playing some golf. Are you taking some time off, Adam, on the Line X hotline?
That's right. I'm actually playing a little golf today myself, so looking forward to getting the clubs out, dusting them off a little bit in the off season here. So
I love it.
It's don't have too many days left, so we gotta get in what we can.
The diehards will find a way, though. You know.
That's right.
They always do. Man, I tell you, first of all, let's highlight coming off this big SEC win. Conference USA goes into a big venue and just absolutely shows out. Hardly not one mistake really, other than a couple of big runs by a future professional running back in Rakeem Boyd. We did everything we could and we did it right, and we came away with one heck of a story with Ty Story, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. What a way to get bowl eligible. I think that was a very impressive win to get the 8 out of the 9 years and to bounce back from a 3-win season to a 6-win and counting still. So hopefully we can close the season out and get a really good bowl game coming up for these guys.
That's what I'm hoping. And even though we're eligible, I think we do need that one more win.
I agree.
To probably seal that deal. So let's look forward to that, Adam. But Lady Tops, we highlighted them last week. What a great time we had with them, and it was just awesome talking about the victory. But let's talk about a golf tip. We're getting back kind of what we do, and it's the winter time's the best time. Because we're not out there doing it, and the habits go away a little bit. And if we can instill new habits, that's what we're here to do. Adam Gary, coach of the WKU Lady Hilltoppers. You're going to talk to us about hitting out of bunkers today. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, so I think that's a tip we maybe haven't really gone over, or we haven't covered in a while. But some of the things that I see with amateur golfers and on the lesson tee are open stance and some of the old school teaching where you open the face, open the stance, and hit down on it, and that causes a real steep angle of attack and digging into the bunkers. But now I think with so many different options that you've got a chance to get a little bit more bounce and different grinds on the bottom of your wedges. So I would recommend getting fit, obviously, first. But secondly, just from a tip side of it, I think what I like to see is a more forward ball position. I see way too many people open the face and put it back in their stance, and it's the only shot in golf you don't really hit the ball first. So you want to hit a couple inches behind the ball, and the sand kind of throws it out. So I place the ball up on the front foot, kind of like where you play a driver, open the face up, and just slide the club underneath it. So I think I love the Gary Player tip. It's like striking a match. You just got to remember you got to have some speed to get through the sand and just blast it out of there. So that'd be my golf tip, is just watch your ball position, make sure your face is open, and kind of square the stance up. Don't have to get real open and hit down on it quite so much from outside to in. Striking a match.
That's a good. And let's talk a little. Let's take it one step further, Coach. What about a fairway bunker? How are you playing that with your lower irons?
Right. I think that's more like a full shot. If it's a full swing, I think it's a normal ball position. What I like to do is choke up on it about a half an inch and dig your feet in just to be nice and stable. You don't want to have too much lower body movement in a fairway bunker because that might cause you to slip and mess up your contact some. But I think if you'll just choke down a little bit, dig in, and then just basically treat it like a full swing because you're obviously wanting to hit the ball and then the turf. So that's more of a shot that you get the divot in front of the ball. But greenside bunker shots, you don't. You want to hit behind the ball and let the sand just kind of throw the ball out for you with some loft.
I mean, and depending on if you're playing with your buddies or if you're in an actual competitive environment, you can be a little more loose with how you try that fairway bunker. But I mean, if you're 130 out and you're not comfortable with it and your score is counting that day, sometimes is it better just to take a more of a conventional greenside bunker approach and just get it out in the fairway and try to minimize your shots?
Absolutely. I mean, everything in golf is situational, so you kind of have to assess where you are and how you're feeling that day. And it's like we've talked about
I love that Butch Harmon tip too. You know, if it gets your heart rate up, don't do it. So I think it's whatever you're comfortable with and what you know you can do. But some of these tips are just for people to be able to go out and try it to where you kind of have at least a little experience and not feel like you're on the course in a situation and you've never hit that shot before. So
very good.
If you can do some of these things in practice, I think it'll really help out.
So bunker side green, you want to further up in your stance, open it up a little bit, make sure you get under the ball, hit 2 inches behind the ball, let the sand do the work, and then out of the fairway, you are full swinging. If you've got the shot and you feel comfortable, you are going to try to pick that off the top of the surface, right?
Right. I agree with that.
All right, Gary, on the green never, ever disappoints. Coach, we'll catch up with you soon. But the Tops get a bye week, get much rested, and I think we can get that maybe 2 more before we close it up.
I love it. I'd love to see it. So it's a good weekend to be a Hilltopper. Volleyball team killed it this weekend. Basketball teams killed it, and then football gets a win. So,
what a week to be a Topper. Well
really,
said.
really good job by everybody.
Go Tops. Thanks for listening to the Sports Web. We appreciate it. We'll talk to everybody next Tuesday. ESPN 102.7, 104, The Score.